Chapter 140. A giant mutated crab stands guard outside, its large claws raised and ready for battle. From the cargo ship, a large column of smoke is still billowing. The human warriors loudly ask the kangaroo, "Why didn't you attack earlier?" The mutated kangaroo, with an arrogant appearance, crossed his arms and said, "Because I have a message to send to the king of this continent, so I have to let you lead the way." Saying this, the mutated kangaroo smiled friendly, narrowed his eyes and said, "If this is impolite, then I apologize." Hearing this, a masked knight of the human side felt uncomfortable and said, "Your polite way of speaking really makes people nauseous. Even if we die, we won't let you ashore." But outside, suddenly a lot of mutated sea creatures appeared from the sea. The human warriors were busy fighting them. All of them were huge in size. A human warrior shouted, "Destroy all these monsters." But just a minute later, he was the one who lost his life. These monsters seemed to be organized and good at fighting. Immediately, the remaining people became more cautious in the fight. A warrior appeared with his recall hammer. He was about to smash this big hammer down, targeting a giant starfish. Bang! The loud collision sounded. The hammer, shaped like a rocket, hit the face of the monster. On this side, 3 human warriors were facing a pink mutated jellyfish. The 3 people continuously attacked from all sides to distract its attention and wear down its vitality. It seems the battle will continue because there is no significant damage to this jellyfish. Another starfish was baring its teeth at 3 human warriors. It seemed they were losing the initiative. Suddenly a shout came from behind, "Get out of the way!" It turned out that someone from the rear line was supporting them. This guy shot 8 pink energy arrows, rushing straight into the monster. These energy arrows were extremely sharp. They stuck into the body of the starfish, causing strong shocks. This place had become a battlefield. Boom! At the bow of the ship, there was a big explosion, seemingly targeting the mutated beast. Then, a brilliant golden light fell where the human warriors were. The speed was so fast that they were all surprised, but later, after the dust settled, the beautiful face of Xiaoling appeared. Everyone immediately recognized her and shouted her name in unison, "Xiaoling." But right after that, a sharp and sarcastic voice rang out, "Haha, you weak humans, why have you been able to rule this world for so long?" It was the voice of a mutated creature, seemingly a weasel, wearing a purple cloak, standing on 2 legs like an assassin, looking very dangerous. Xiaoling was slightly injured, but seeing this creature despise humans, she smiled disdainfully and said, "What? Are you envious of us humans?" But this creature didn't want to argue. He immediately roared in anger, "Then let me put an end to your human story." Then, he rushed towards Xiaoling, with his cold black hand and cunning eyes. A warrior stood on the deck and shouted to everyone below, "Be careful, these beasts are from Australia. They are here to declare war on our continent." And down there, the battle was still going on. The sea beasts had climbed ashore and were fighting with the human warriors. The captain of the warrior team on the shore really felt helpless. A misty mountain had already made humans headache. Now there were these organized beasts. Just then, the giant crab and the giant turtle began to concentrate energy to prepare for a large-scale attack, seemingly wanting to blow away the entire force protecting the coast. The captain immediately put his 2 hands forward and deployed a defensive shield, a skill of his. From his 2 hands, a bright yellow energy block grew larger and larger. In just a moment it turned into a large shield. Just as the attack of the 2 beasts came, collided with the energy shield, causing a big explosion. Thanks to this shield, the attack was deflected to both sides of the shield. His entire warrior team was safe. But the attack of these beasts was really powerful. Even though it was blocked by the shield, the shock wave and the push it created were still terrifying. If someone was outside the protection range of this shield, they would definitely turn into dust. The big waves swept to both sides and the ground was also deeply gouged. The captain himself had reached his limit. He could only block once. He couldn't use this skill a second time, because his hands seemed to be burnt. The purple dragon was neatly tucked in the tail of the mutated kangaroo. He was stepping on a warrior lying still on the ground, so the battle in this cargo ship had ended. The overwhelming victory belonged to the kangaroo's side. Not only that, he seemed to have no minor injuries at all. Then the kangaroo went up to the deck, looked far away on the mainland and said, "Not all humans are weak." Then his eyes lit up with a chilling murderous light and continued, "But the lord of this continent should also change." The sea at this time became even noisier, not because of the fighting situation but because there were too many beasts continuing to gather here from the sea. Seeing this, the warriors on the shore felt bored. The first wave of attack has not yet been cleared, and the fifth and sixth waves of attack can already be seen from afar. Did anyone still think about victory? Then, from the other cargo ship, giant bright balls appeared in the night sky, not fireworks, but those giant beasts were gathering energy, preparing to attack in unison. With the scale of this attack, the entire coast will be cleaned up and there will be no signs of life. It's a quick and efficient fighting style. The captain saw this, his eyes were dull, his heart didn't want to beat anymore. With the scale of this attack, even if he could use it again and summon 2 shields, he couldn't resist. At this time, the mutated kangaroo smiled subtly, showing satisfaction. Since coming to this world, basically everything went smoothly, winning wherever he fought. In no time he would be promoted like a wind, becoming the #1 general of the king. But swoosh! A sharp cutting sound rang out. Kangaroo had counted to 3 but no explosion sounded. On the contrary, all the beasts preparing to attack were beheaded, fresh blood sprayed like rain. Kangaroo only had time to open his eyes and look. The smile on his lips hadn't faded yet. He was surprised to look back, to see what had interrupted his fun. At the best part, only saw a black foot stepping on the rock, making the rock shatter. This stranger appeared on the human side. Was he a human ally? This also surprised the other warriors. But immediately Kangaroo understood. His face became serious. He said, "Finally you are on the field?" The king of Misty Mountain. A slender humanoid tree appeared on the battlefield, with a pink flame in his chest. This form was definitely a product of the divine tree. It seemed that Xiaoling also thought this was the divine tree. She thought to herself that she didn't expect the owner to appear here. As for the other warriors, they felt the space seemed to become very cramped. They just wanted to run away because this aura was too strong, too oppressive, but this was also a characteristic to identify the power of the owner of Misty Mountain. But they wondered why this combat form of the divine tree was so small. That's right, compared to the werewolf version last time, this version is smaller by 100 times. At the place of that tree man, the rocks were continuously cracking, due to the roots constantly penetrating. These roots burrow deep into the ground and extend to distant places. It is here, the divine tree is really sitting in one place and controlling one of its roots. The tree man said to the kangaroo, "You called me king earlier? And who are you?" The mutated kangaroo replied, "I am a beast from the Australian continent. My king always wants to meet you." The divine tree said with suspicion, "Your king wants to meet me?" The kangaroo standing on the bow of the ship immediately replied, "Yes, my king wants to join forces with you to unify the entire continent." The human warriors heard these words. They were scared stiff. Which beast wanted to unify the entire continent? Isn't it to annihilate all the superhuman warriors of mankind? Xiaoling was also surprised. Is this king really so powerful? Even her owner has never seriously talked about this. Kangaroo's eyes lit up as if he had found the ideal of life. He confidently shouted, "Yes, unify the entire continent, create a world only for our beasts. Sweep away humans, how about it? Join us, kill all humans." What a passionate and idealistic boy. The tree man with a solemn face just said one short sentence, "Get lost." Hearing this, Kangaroo felt really angry. His face became as cold as ice. He whispered, "What a pity, the answer is wrong." After saying that, the giant beasts behind him immediately gathered energy ready to attack in unison. The tree man seemed to be in a hurry. He shouted, "I'm very busy. I don't have time to play guessing games with you. Quickly leave the egg and get out of here." Then, the tree man's eyes also lit up with a murderous light and said in a gruff voice, "Or you can die here too." Boom, boom, boom. The sea beast side attacked the tree man in unison. Lights of all colors, blue, red, purple, yellow. Immediately space was distorted. The light was dazzling like a disco. End of chapter 140.